Got the Afi Elegance bra pattern? In today's video I want to show you how to effortlessly transform the cup and make this feminine bra many of you adore. The tutorial is split in two. Here we focus solely on quickly changing the pattern. The next video will show you how to construct the cup. In a traditional Afi Elegance cup, you have this little piece towards the arm. And the main seam, the diagonal seam, that flows down from the armhole to the center front. With the base pattern in mind, let's look and compare the features for the new bra. In this new design, that small section is no longer a standalone piece. It is now joined with the bottom cup, forming a rather long side panel. At the same time, the diagonal seam changed into a seam starting at the top, but follows the original slope towards the center front, as in the base pattern. And if you're wondering, the back of the bra is unchanged. So you can confidently use the main part of the instructions from the pattern package for constructing the entire bra. We're only altering the cups. I've got all my cup pieces laid out on the table. We have to prepare some of the pieces before carrying out design changes. But for the A4 piece, there's nothing we need to do, so I will set it aside and we'll focus on what's important. I always say to chop off all the seam allowances before making adjustments, but we can get away here. For the A1 piece, we need to cut the bottom seam allowance. For the A2, we need to cut the seam allowance on the left side and the one along the bottom edge. There's nothing we need to do for the A3 piece. A couple of minutes forward and the seam allowances are now gone from the top pieces. What do we do next? We need to join the A2 and place it on top of A1. Align the A2 straight edge to the original pattern line on A1. Start from the bottom. To have them as one piece, pick any sticking tape, better use the paper type, not like the one I have here. I used what was in my stash. First I am taping at the bottom, and then at the upper edge. Now both upper pieces make for one long section. Looking next, at the bottom left corner, that needs to match the corner on the A3 cup piece. And this notch number 3 right in the middle of the diagonal seam, has to match the corner notch on the bottom cup piece. This segment is not straight. It is a slight curve. You have to be careful to match the points, and let the curve slightly overlap. Again use the sticking tape and join all the pieces together. Now we need to apply the changes. Between notch number 1 and notch number 3, we need to draw a curve. Let me mark the ends of the segments, so you can know for sure where the curve starts, and where it ends. I am free-handed tracing a curve from one point to the other. Don't make it too deep, and try not to trace it as a straight line. It shouldn't be difficult, since this is a small segment. Let me enhance the line, so you can see clearly what we do next. Pick up your paper scissors, and let's separate this big chunk following strictly the curve we just drafted. That's excellent. Now, let's smooth out the armhole edge and trim the paper excess. Almost done. Pick up a sheet of paper, large enough to accommodate our pieces. We need to trace them in order to add the seam allowances back to the sections where it is missing from. Do not forget to mark the notches. Both of them. Finally we can add the seam allowance to the curve we created earlier. Guided by the top edge and following the curve I am drafting free-handed again. Let me enhance the edge here as well so your eye can see it easier. And let me mark firmly the notches too. Then transfer the dog's direction on your new paper piece. Done with the bottom part. Moving on to the upper piece. I am aligning the straight edge of my piece to the straight edge of the paper. Quickly trace this piece too. See the notch? Mark it too. And when you've finished tracing, mark the dog's line as well. Now let's add the seam allowance. We need to follow this long curve. That's all we have to do. And we're ready to cut our new paper pieces. Okay. Remember we set the A4 aside? It's time we pick it back up and add it to our cup. It will join the side panel in the same vertical seam, but the upper piece will do a seam dance. One thing I like to do is to chop a teeny tiny piece on each notch. That small gap allows me to slide the pen and mark the notch when tracing the piece onto my fabric. All right, we are now officially done. And got ourselves a new cup design. I will be making the bottom from the gray satin, and the upper cup from this bright and vivid orange lace that follows the scalloped edge. Be sure to mark the notches on all the pieces, and see you in the next video, where I will show you how to construct this new design. Thanks for watching. Let me know in a comment how difficult you found this tutorial, or if you need more help. All the very best to you.